How do everybody? It's Charlie Tango 965 here, just with a quick overview of the kit for outdoors and CTX activations. Just a bit of an overview really. I know there's a couple of guys on the forum doing new kit videos and stuff, so I thought I'd give you a show of what I've got now. Just bearing in mind that not all of this goes on every activation. But the majority of it probably does. So let's just have a quick run through just so you get the idea of what's what. First off, we start with the shelter kit. So we've got the basher poles, just your standard, bog standard basher poles. Nothing special with them, extendable. Probably extend about the same again as the collapse length. Selection of tent pegs, nothing special there, just normal tent pegs that have been bent many times and straightened. Ground sheet is just a regular tarpaulin, but it's fine as a ground sheet, keeps the water out. Blanket that goes with me on cold weather activations, which hopefully we've seen the back of now. So the blanket that will be coming out of the kit for the warmer weather. A lot of weight saving, although it is brilliant in the snow. Had a few activations in the snow this year, which is good. Those are the collapsible pole sections that go with the Polish Army poncho, which is next on the list. There's 3 sections in each pouch there, and they came with it. Then we've got the Polish Army poncho. Great bit of kit, brilliant for the cold weather or windy conditions. Excellent, really recommend that, and cheap as well. Comes in 2 halves. I'll do a separate review on that when I get a bit of time, and I'll show you it up as one side, and I'll show you it up as a combined 2 halves buttoned together to make a more of a teepee type shelter. Great, really like that. Really good bit of kit. British Army basher, nothing special. As again, I'm sure most of you know what the British Army basher's like. Big enough for one-man camp. It's only ever me on my own, so that's plenty good enough for me. And that should be coming out in the warmer weather now that it's here, and for overnight camps as well as a extra shelter. The small British Army poncho that I've had for quite a few years. That's with me on most activations. You've seen that in most of my videos already, I'm sure. And the one on the Quantox especially, that was handy when we had a shower of rain. Only usually take one of the 3 shelters. I don't take all 3. Obviously that's just mental, unless there was going to be someone else and we want a bit of a bigger shelter or extra kit. So normally one of the 3, usually this one or this one, and this one will be extra or lightweight for the summer. And then we move on to clothing. Basically, I've got a softy jacket and softy trousers in there, which they were invaluable last week on the Quantox. Really good thermal protection, superb. Can't rate those enough actually. Fantastic job they are. I usually have those on when I'm walking because I just get really bad cold legs, cold feet and stuff. But that really did the business last week, that jacket. Superb. Just wore it underneath my CTX fleece, or CT fleece I should say, CT fleece, and yeah, it was plenty warm enough. Fantastic job. So that's the thermal layers, and we've got spare hat. I carry that in addition to the one that will be on my head. Spare gloves. They're a bit tatty now. They've seen a lot of action. But spare gloves. There's nothing worse than getting wet on the way to the activation, or just being out and then having to sit there all day in wet clothes. So they can dry off by the cook kit, and I can wear some dry ones while they're drying. So that's nice. British Army smock is the one with the rigid type collar, which unfolds to form the hood. Nice and warm, nice and thick. Again, probably going to come out of the kit for the summer because it's quite a hefty jacket. It really is quite weighty, but does the job when it's cold, which is what you need. Stay warm. Really important safety thing to stay warm. And some waterproof over trousers, which unless it's really raining, I don't bother with them. They're big enough to go over your boots and up over most things you're wearing, but I really, unless it's really wet, heavy wet, I don't bother with them. I've got another pair that are black, just plain black nylon ones that I wear when I'm in the canoe, if it's not so good weather, but no, perfect, just the job those are. And a couple of headovers. This one I wear on the way to activation, it's usually windy. Again, for the summer, probably can dispense with that from the kit. And a spare one. As I mentioned before, if it gets wet, you don't want to sit in wet clothing. It's the worst thing you can do. Or even if it gets sweaty. Once you stop moving and the sweat condenses and it becomes cold, it's not great. So spare one of those as well. And that's basically it for the clothing. Obviously, I've got my my Gore-Tex boots that I wear, which are really good. They help keep the cold out. And my thermal socks that I wear, which are proper walking socks actually, mountain socks. Just appeared from nowhere there. They're really thick, really warm, woolly. Do the business. They really do. Combine that with the Gore-Tex boots, which again are British Army boots. Got them brand new off eBay actually, which was remarkable because they were so cheap, 20 quid, which is unheard of for Gore-Tex Army boots, but just the job. So a pair of woolly socks, which is nice. So that's basically all of the shelter and the clothing. The next safety thing or thing to bear in mind when you're out and about in these places is first aid, really. Those are actually hand sanitizing gels, that one, and that one's a bit of a moisturiser. It's not a girly thing. It's you don't want to be out in the cold and the bad weather and your hands get all sore and chapped. You know, your hands start cracking in the cold and stuff, and next thing you know, you can't use your hands. It does take a while, but it builds up over each time you go out. So keep your hands moisturised, unless you're going to wear gloves all the time. Keep them moisturised. This serves two purposes. This one, this I can actually use as a fire starting aid, because squirt a bit of that into your cook pan, set light to it, and away it goes. Really, really, really good. I do like those. And now the warmer weather's here, some insect repellent. You don't want to go out and then come back and find you've been bitten to death, and I always get bitten to death, so that's those. Then the first aid kit. Now those two little pouches there are going to become the first aid kits. Now these were a good spot from Gary104. He found these on the internet. They're very basic, minimalist, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use parts of these two, and parts of my main first aid kit, which is the one I always take with me, and this is a very comprehensive one. You can probably just make out some contacts on there actually. I was running the net on Sunday, static mobile from the White Horse, and I didn't intend to take the chair, but it was a bit impromptu, and I had to write all the contacts on the back of my first aid kit because that's all I had, so that's what they are. But this opens out into a really good first aid kit. I've got the quick cut scissors in there, a big pair and a small pair. Those are fantastic. They'll cut denim, they'll cut leather, they'll cut any material you wear. These big ones are actually reported to cut through plaster casts, so not that I intend to be having a plaster cast on while I'm out, but that's the cutting power. So they're in there. Bandages, dressings, plasters, iPads. I've actually got some ibuprofen or ibuprofen tablets in there. You know, should I need them? Painkillers, and it folds out into quite, as you can see, it's quite a comprehensive kit. Those are cold packs. You break them and squeeze them together, and they turn instantly cold, which are good for if you bang yourself, knock your head, your arm, sprain your wrist, sprain your ankle. If you can apply some cold relief straight away, it really stops the swelling, and it's a good shout actually. If you can get one or two, it's a good shout to carry. Excuse me. If you sprain your ankle and you've got nothing like this, and you take your boots off, there's a good chance that your ankle will swell up and you won't be able to get your boots back on. So just bear that in mind. And then I've got the triangular bandages, which you can make up as like a sling, and in the back of there, alcohol wipes for cleaning wounds, Mearpaw tape, some Mearpaw dressings, and there is actually there a foil blanket. So I've got all the prep that I need in there. But what I'm going to do is make up these two into a selection of this stuff here, and then those will fit in the front pouch of the Bergen that I use, and whereas this one doesn't. This one has to go inside, and I'm trying to keep the space inside for other stuff. So that's basically the first aid kit. Very comprehensive, good little kit that one. Goes everywhere. Stays in the Land Rover usually, and then comes out when I go on activation. So that's your survival kit. That's your clothes, your shelter. That's really your important stuff. You don't want to be out with without any of that, to be honest, because the elements will get a grip pretty quick, and you could run into trouble. So stay warm, stay dry. Moving along to the well, we go on to the radio gear now, if you like. This is the 6 metre pole I've got here, collapsible telescopic pole. charlietango.co.uk there. That's the radio forum. Great forum. If you want information, if you want to ask a question, you'll always get a good answer. Lots of knowledge on that website, lots of knowledge. So that's the 6 metre pole. That won't be in the kit. That will be a 10 metre pole, which is out on loan at the moment. And then I have a set of guys for the antenna. Again, this is the set that go with the 6 metre pole that I made up. They don't usually come out unless I've got the 6 metre pole. So that's those. I've got in that kit some quick release. I've mentioned these before. Some quick release webbing belts, which you've seen these before. Very cheap. I got 5 for £1 off the eBay, and I use them for all sorts of things. Majority of the time it's for attaching the antenna to fence posts or trees or something like that. Very, very good, and they're wide as well, so they don't damage the tree, they don't cut in, and very, very important to look after the place you go to and clear up after yourself, and don't leave any traces that you've been there, really. So those, brilliant, they always come with me. Plus they double up as kit straps. You know, if you want to attach some extra kit to your bag, they're ideal for that. And one-handed operation. So yeah, really good. Really, really like those. This is a little respirator pouch, and this carries or contains the majority of the radio kit. I don't know if you can see in there very well, but you've got the speaker mics, PMRs are in there, the SWR meters down in there. That's the other PMR there, and a little half a watt PMR there, which I should be taking out. Hopefully get some contacts on that. That'd be nice. And then the top just houses my sat nav. Brilliant bit of kit, the sat nav. For those of you who want to know how high you are, or weather conditions, how far you've walked, how long you've walked for. If you want to use it to find a way back to somewhere, it's really good for that. Good to have. But you don't really want to use that as your ultimate rely on. If it goes down and you're somewhere you don't know, you're going to be in the brown stuff. So good as a backup. But I always take a map and a compass and stuff just to be on the safe side. A couple of those snap lights, which I'll show you in a minute because I've got some open ones in my other pouch. And the antennas are in there for the PMRs. They go in there, and that all packs into there. Also into there, the homemade dipole for the PMR, that goes in. Head torch, just a little LED head torch, does the red as well, that goes in. The bazooka, or the T2LT antenna, that's there, that goes in. And also, I've got some RG213 there that I use for PMR stuff, which is very good, very low loss for UHF, so that's ideal. And that usually sits in there. I've got it separate at the moment because I was using it, but that will sit in there as well. These go in there, no problem. Let's say these respirator pouches are very, very good. Got a little extra side pouch on the side where I keep my there we go, my wind-up torch. I say wind-up, it's one of those. Just release the cat. One of those. Few flicks like that, and that goes for ages. That does. Really good buy. That was £1. Just lock that in, and that stays in, and that on off. So yeah, ideal. Very, very good. Very cheap. Very nice. and then also the spare batteries are in there for the 42 handy. So all the radio gear's in there essentially. That goes in there, that closes down, and then you just fold that over. That goes inside the Bergen, and then I know all the radio kit's contained. I take that out and I've got all the radio gear. So that's a great little thing. Plus you can wear it on your webbing if you want to take that on its own. I mean, that on its own weighs, that must be getting on for 5 kilos with all the stuff that's in there. So that's alright. And then the admin pouch, again, falls under radio category really. I carry everything that I need for that in there. Marker pens, pen pencils, side cutters for trimming antennas or releasing cable ties. Those snap lights, I'm sure you've seen them before. They're just little liquid filled. You snap them, shake them up, and then these ones go for 12 hours. Spare torch. Little spare torch. I don't use that unless I have to. Keep the batteries good. The log, the CB log, PMR log in there. And then we've got the knife sharp. I carry a little knife sharpener, a little handheld pocket one. Nothing great, nothing special. Little handheld pocket sharpener for my knives. Compass, as I mentioned. Whistle, just in case I ever get any difficulties or anything. I get stuck, I want to alert people or call for help. I carry a whistle, just a little, you know, the ones the teachers used to have at school for your PE. Little whistle, roll of tape. Got another roll to go in there. And then a little setting up and little tasks knife. It's a little K-bar, little mini one. Again, one-handed operation. So that just clicks into place, just like that, which is ideal. Very sharp, and folds away. Incidentally, I'm not really a paracord person, but the paracord, I don't know what you call that. The knitted paracord thing, I put that on there mainly so that when I've got the knife in my pocket, as I'll show you now, I've got the knife in my pocket, you can't see that it's a knife, which is good. You don't want to be walking around with a knife in public, even if it is up on a hill. There are other people around normally, but that can hang outside, so you can always grab your knife. I just like that. I like a little easy access. It normally lives in there, just like that. That folds up. That's Molly. That's the only bit of Molly I've got. I'm not a huge fan of Molly, to be honest, although it is quite handy. That's all the radio gear. So that all gets carried in the Bergen. All of that goes in the Bergen. And then all we've got left then really is the rations and the cook kit, which we've got very, you can see there, my thermos flasks, always both filled with tea. That's considerable weight, but I just like to have, I always have had, and I always like to have a ready-made brew. I don't want to get there and have to make a brew. I like to just get there, pack off, and have a cup of tea before anything else really. That's the way I always have been. Those are the little Wedtex flasks that I've mentioned before. Now I don't carry hot drinks in them anymore because they don't stay hot. But I quite often carry them empty, and then if I want to wander off and have a look around, what I'll do is I will unzip one of the pouches from the Bergen, and that can go on your back as a separate little rucksack. Heat up a brew on the stove from the brew that's in there, pop it in there, and then for half an hour or so that will stay warm enough, and you've got a little brew. Also extra water carrying if you need it. Water bottle. Name says it all, it's for carrying water, and another one there for extra water. Gas bottle. This is my primary cooking medium. That goes hand in hand with that, which is an MSR pocket rocket. Again, a lot of this stuff, and I like this, is all one-handed operation. There's the stove. They fold out like that. You simply screw it on the bottom of the bowl, and that's your stove. Away you go. And when you're done, collapse it, fold up the regulator handle, drop it back in there, lid on. Excellent, one-handed, I like that. What a fantastic stove that is. I don't know if any of you have caught my other video where I did a quick little view of it in the footwell of the Land Rover. And wow, what a ferocious flame. I do like that, really, really good. But for any reason, if the gas runs out for any reason, or I've been a wally and not taken a full can, took an empty can, I've got the base cooking pot there for the Crusader system, which is very, very good, very effective. I've got the spare hexamine blocks that I carry. That's as a backup. If my lighter goes dry for any reason, I've got a striker and a flint. Very, very good. Couple of old favourite tin openers there, British Army tin openers. Lightweight, ideal. Don't need to carry a full size tin opener with those. Brilliant. My Foon or my Spork. I've got a bigger one of those, which is much better for the ration packs, because the ration pack comes up to here, and most of it gets covered in blooming food. But no, handy little bit of kit. It's only a little bendable, plasticky jobby, but it does the trick. Lightweight. My knife, more of a general purpose knife more than anything. New addition to the kit, that is. It's a Mora. Again, that lives in the pack. I don't wear that on my side when I'm in a public access place, because you know, you just don't want to draw attention to yourself. You don't want people to go and report you for carrying a knife. Wild camping, in the middle of nowhere, no one about, fine, carry it on yourself. General food prep, again, it's I've got a habit of putting things in a bit tight. There we go. It is one-handed operation normally, and there she is. As I say, it's a Mora knife. Turn it round. Mora knife, stainless knife, does the job. As I say, it's a new addition to the kit. Very sharp, and yeah, it'd be ideal for food prep or wood prep for wild camping. And that just clicks in there. And then very basic kit. That's where I store my extra paracord. Keeps it out the way. Mess tins, just your normal bog standard army mess tins. Nothing fancy there. And the Crusader cup. That's my Crusader cup. It's not dirty. That's where I'm slowly seasoning it to become non-stick. I think there is a non-stick version about, but I'm just seasoning it like I did my wok, and just oil. That's just oil, and it protects it as well. It is stainless, but it just gives it that extra added, especially inside. Things burn and catch all the time, so great little bit of kit that. Really do like that. And then the plastic cup, just the plastic cup that goes on the old that sits on top of the water bottle, like that. So yeah, that's it basically. That's my kit. So don't take it all, but it all does go into that Bergen. It's a short back British Army Bergen, and the roll mat, which is brilliant for cold or wet weathers. It's closed cell foam, doesn't absorb water, and it's a brilliant thermal barrier. Really keeps the cold out. Was doing the job brilliantly up on the Quantox a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, fantastic. But that's the kit, guys. As I say, I don't take all of it, although I say that. Everything I've showed you goes on activation, apart from I only take one of the 3 shelters, and I may or may not take the blanket depending on the weather, what it's going to be. But all of it goes on activation. That is what I take. I like to be prepared. I don't like being caught out. It's better to take it and carry a little bit of extra weight than go without it and want for something when you're out and about, especially when you get into sort of mountains. You know, you don't want to go without shelter or warmth, although when you're trekking up mountains the weight becomes more of a factor. So it's very much a personal thing. Everybody's got their own ideas about their kit and what they want to take. This is what I've got at the moment. It's always changing. I'm always finding things, altering things, and adapting it to work better for me. But yeah, there you go. That's what I've got at the moment, and you'll see it all in action out on activation next time. So we catch you on the next video, and catch you later. Bye for now.